Hi everyone, this is Waj from the MW Technology channel on YouTube, and in this video we're doing a direct comparison between the Nintendo 2DS, the 3DS, and the 3DS XL. Now what you guys are looking at is the three different options of the DS currently available to you. Now the real cool thing about all three devices is that they're very similar in terms of internal specifications and overall capabilities. There's some subtle differences here and there that differentiates them from each other, so it really depends on which feature you like best, whether you like the price point of the 2DS, the compact size of the 3DS, or the overall large experience of the 3DS XL. Now the first thing that we're going to take a look at is the overall design and physical dimensions of all three portable gaming devices. Now as you can tell straight off the bat, all three devices are really different in terms of their dimension and design. Starting with the 2DS measures 127 millimeters in its height, 144 millimeters in its width, and the 3DS measures about only 74 millimeters on its height, 134 millimeters with its width, so it's definitely smaller than the 2DS, and the XL measures 93 millimeters in its height, so it is smaller than the 2DS but a little bit bigger than the 3DS, and it measures about 156 millimeters on its width. Now in terms of thickness, the 2DS is actually the thinnest, even though it actually tapers from one end to the other, so it's about 20.3 millimeters in its overall thickness at the largest point, versus 21 millimeters on the 3DS and about 22 millimeters on the XL. So not a lot of thickness difference overall, and you're never really going to notice the difference unless you're looking at them under a microscope. Now obviously we're measuring the 3DS and the XL in its closed clamshell position. Obviously when you open it up to reveal the dual screens, the form factor obviously becomes a little bit larger and a little bit more comparable to the 2DS, but in terms of the actual pocketability and all those things, the 3DS is definitely the superior design in terms of pocketability and overall compact size. Now all the DSs that you see over here are available in a couple of different colors. The 2DS is available in two different colors, red and blue, currently available right now. They'll probably come up with more colors later down the road. The 3DS actually comes with three different colors. You have pink, purple, and blue, and the XL actually has the most colors. It actually comes with four different colors, including blue, red, pink, and black. Now in terms of the design and durability of all three devices, I think the 2DS is probably going to be a little bit more durable in the long run. It doesn't have that extra hinge, so it's probably better for smaller kids. Now I do think that the 3DS and the XL are made just with high quality material, but obviously with that hinge you're going to have a little bit more wear and tear. Maybe after a couple of years of usage the hinge is not going to be able to close as well as it used to, and obviously the 2DS has solved that problem by just having it flat, but your screens are exposed now. In the 3DS and the XL you can actually cover your screen and it's protected. So in terms of longevity and durability, the question is really what circumstances the device goes through. In some cases you might have a 2DS that lasts longer, in others you might have a 3DS that lasts longer. It all depends on the person that's using it and the overall circumstances that it's used in. Now let's go ahead and move away from my boring ramblings about these Nintendo DSs against each other in terms of design and durability, and therefore let's go ahead and take a look at the major differences between these three gaming consoles besides what you're looking at on the surface. Now the funny and confusing thing about Nintendo is that they've categorized all three of these portable devices in the 3DS line. So even though the 2DS doesn't technically have a 3D screen, it does have a 3D camera, but it can also play 3DS games. So if you're confused, you're definitely not alone, and it's quite disorienting when you're starting to pick which one you like best. Now one thing I do like about the 2DS is that it has pretty much the same hardware and specifications internally as the 3DS and even the XL. They're all pretty much very similar in terms of screen resolution, processors, the amount of RAM that they have. So thankfully you actually have the full DS gaming experience at a much lower for cost, especially when you start comparing it to the XL, which costs almost $80 more. Now, if you take a look at the screens of all three devices, you'll notice that the 2DS and the 3DS have the exact same screens. They're basically foldable on one device and unfoldable on the other. Now, the 3DS XL actually has obviously the bigger screen, as you can see. It has a 4.8-inch screen at the top and a 4.1-inch screen on the bottom. So it gives you a little bit of a bigger experience, but it doesn't give you any more resolution. Continuing on with the similarities, all three devices have a motion sensor and a gyroscope, and all three devices come with a Street Pass and a Spot Pass included in the box. And speaking of connectivity, all three devices have built-in Wi-Fi enabled, so that means you can browse the internet, visit the Nintendo eStore, and go to Nintendo Zone hotspots on all three devices. Now, in terms of the included memory, the 2DS actually comes with a 4GB SD card, which is twice as what you get on the 3DS and the same as the XL, so pretty good value in that case. Now, when we take a look at the sound on three devices, you'll notice that the 2DS actually has one speaker, a mono speaker, instead of the two stereo speakers that you will find on the 3DS and on the XL. But in terms of the audio quality, they're pretty much on par with each other. Obviously, the 2DS is a little bit shorter in terms of how big and how loud the sound can go, but overall not too bad. Now, when we take a look at the battery life on all three devices, you'll notice that the 2DS and the XL are pretty much on par with each other when playing 3DS games. They both get about 3.5 hours to 5.5 hours of gameplay, and when we take a look at standard DS games, you get about 5 to 9 hours on your 2DS and up to 10 hours on the XL. The 3DS, the standard 3DS, is right where in the middle. They all get really good battery life in terms of gaming. They're both kind of industry standards, and they all take about 3.5 hours to fully charge the battery. Now, all those specifications and stuff aside, I think at the end of the day, all three DSs are pretty much on par with each other in terms of performance and overall experience. Obviously, if you're stuck on 3D and enjoy playing your games in 3D, especially the ones that were made for 3D, you definitely are probably going to be interested in the 3DS. Obviously, if you want a bigger experience, you get the XL. There's not a massive price difference, but if you're kind of buying for a present for somebody, or if you just like playing a lot of these Nintendo games and love the 3DS, I think the 2DS is probably the best deal. I know it's probably not the most compact form factor, but in terms of durability and the way how everything is organized and the real value of it, it's pretty much on par with all the other DSs. So if you can get it at the cheaper price and it comes with a little bit of extras in terms of a little bit more memory and stuff like that, I think it's probably worth getting if you're buying a present for somebody or if you're a fan of the DS. But either or, the decision will be up to you. Try all three devices, see what fits you the best in terms of what you want, and probably the best thing is not to focus so much on the specifications, which again don't really vary that much, and really make the decision on your own. Hopefully I give you kind of an idea of how they all compare against each other in terms of their raw specifications and overall feel, but again, the decision will be up to you. So if you like the video, please make sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're gonna come out with a whole bunch of new gaming content relying on the gaming hardware aspect of things. So if you love that kind of stuff, please make sure you're staying tuned to our channel. Visit our Facebook page if you can as well, and we'll see you later. Take care.